Pushing Back the Shadows, support and awareness for mental health. Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Pushing Back the Shadows podcast. My name's Alex Davis and I'm the founder of Pushing Back the Shadows. So, who likes playing video games? Whatever console it is, I'm not going to get into the argument there of which console's best, but who likes playing video games? We've established over the course of these podcasts that it's one of the things that I do to relax. You know, if I need to escape from life for a bit, I'll turn on the computer or the Xbox and I'll play a video game. And it helps, whether it's a distraction technique or whether it's, going out and pretending that I'm some other guy in like Fallout or whatever. It really helps keep my mental health in check. And I've got a new game. Granted, this was released a couple of years ago, so I'm late to the party, but I'd rather wait until, they've put out all the DLC and made them nice, reasonable prices and so on. So, I got this game, and I've been playing it, and it's called Dying Light. Except it's not just Dying Light, it's the enhanced edition and all that's got the DLC and so on and so on and so on and so on. And I have to say, I'm absolutely loving it. Have you ever played it? Have you ever even heard of it? If you have heard of it, and played it, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinions on the game. But if you haven't, then here's just a little snippet of kind of what you got to do. So, Dying Light is a first-person zombie apocalypse-themed game set in an open world. So players traverse an expansive urban environment overrun by a vicious epidemic, scavenging the world for supplies and crafting weapons to defend against the growing infected population, with a heavy focus on parkour mechanics, allowing players to perform actions such as climbing ledges, leaping off from the edges, sliding, jumping from roof to roof, and ziplining. And they also apply to combat, so they can perform actions such as drop kicking when engaging in combat with enemies. And it's one of those, they say that playing in the daylight, great. You can go out, scavenge for supplies, get back to safe zones, set up traps, save random survivors, etc., etc., etc. At night time, however, the infected transform to become more dangerous. The senses of these infected become more acute and accurate. They can sprint, have increased damage, ability to jump and climb buildings, and it's really, 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 really good. I'm hooked. What can I say? But this particular game, and just the name of Dying Light, got me thinking. How often can that feel to us like depression? What do you think? Dying Light, a little bit like depression. I know it sounds like a bit of a funny concept, but hear me out on this one, because you never know. You might be surprised. Enable Pushing Back the Shadows to continue supporting people in the mental health community, their friends and their family. By pledging just $1 a month, you could help us to continue supporting people with depression, with anxiety, with bipolar and other mental illnesses. You can also unlock exclusive rewards, behind the scenes, sneak previews of upcoming posts and much, much more. So head over to www.patreon.com/Alex Davis PBTS to find out more. Alright, so I can almost hear you now saying, Alex, you've cracked. What on earth does a zombie game have to do with depression? other than those lovely sleepless nights that you get where you lie awake for hours and hours staring at the ceiling and you wake up the next morning and you haven't really slept very well and you just feel like an absolute zombie. Well, bear with me, because it might surprise you. So as I mentioned, you have the day and you have the night, and the zombies are always there. They're worse in the night, because you've got like the better infected, the volatiles as they're called, and you have all the other ordinary, well I say ordinary, if any zombie can be ordinary, but you have the ordinary zombies as well. And that set me thinking, they're always there. And that's very, very reminiscent of our mental health struggles. The demons that we feel, that we have inside us, are always there too, aren't they? At least mine are. It might be different for you, it's not always the same for everybody else. But for me, yeah, it's always the case that they are always there. And how many people would you talk to who would say that actually it's worse at night? No matter what mental health condition you're actually struggling with, it is worse at night. Would you say that? Would you agree? Would you disagree? I mean, I don't know. You might find that it's actually better at night time. But I've heard a lot of people say if you can't sleep and you're stuck lying awake staring at the ceiling, your thoughts overwhelm you. You can't stop your brain from kind of thinking and thinking and thinking, and a lot of it, there's always that kind of problem, isn't there? That your thoughts just run wild, you can't shut them off, you can't seem to control them, and it slowly drives you deeper and deeper into despair. So the demons are always there, and more often than not, it's worse at night. Whether the demons get stronger or whether we get weaker, I don't really know, but there's something about the nighttime that just makes it worse. And in a lot of ways, we are fighting to survive. Just like the main character in Dying Light, Kyle Crane, or you, the player, is fighting for survival, especially at night. Because either you run away from the zombies, or you engage them head on and you kill them, try not to get killed yourself. You have to fight for your own survival. And that in itself is very reminiscent of our struggles as well, because how many people get suicidal thoughts? How many people want to give up in the middle of their struggle? And we have to keep fighting. We have to keep fighting. Granted, we don't always. Some people do give up, and that takes a variety of ways, a variety of forms. And a lot of us would say that we are still fighting our struggle. We're utilising whatever techniques, whatever methods we can, be it medication, be it therapy, some of these holistic approaches, or even other techniques like binge eating or not eating at all, self-harm, distraction techniques, whatever it is that we do, we're fighting our fight. And as we fight, again, this is similar to the game, we, for want of a better word, we level up. We get better at it. Granted, the longer the fight goes on, the less energy we have, the tireder we get. But we still kind of get better at this fighting, don't we? We become almost kind of old hat at the struggle, and we figure out new ways of coping, new things that will work for us. There are a lot of similarities. Another one that struck me is that when your player, because the player character, he's dropped into this city, because the city itself is overrun with the epidemic. It was a virus that turned everybody into kind of zombie-like creatures, and there's this organisation that still helps the survivors. It's the Global Relief Effort, and they try and help the survivors, and because of a document that was stolen, they drop your character in, and he gets attacked as soon as he's dropped in, and he's attacked by some zombies, he's bitten, and he's infected. And with that in mind, as he's infected, that means that the virus in itself is going to creep through and slowly turn him into one of these things. Okay? I mean, we don't know, well, not unless we've completed the game. I don't know whether it happens or not, but that's a side note. But they use this medication called antizin, which is what they find in a lot of the relief drops, to keep the infection at bay. And how often is that like our depression or our bipolar? We use medication to keep it at bay. So as you can see, there are a lot of similarities. But that in itself is not what I wanted to focus on. It's not. I wanted to focus on a completely different element of it. What's that? We'll have a look. You're listening to Pushing Back the Shadows. The element that I wanted to focus on is not that the demons are always there, not that it gets worse at night, not even that we're fighting to survive, we're employing plenty of different techniques, and that we're constantly learning those new skills, or even that we're kind of levelling up. Which actually, if you think about it, is pretty cool. You know, we're fighting demons and we're levelling up and so on. The element that I wanted to look at is that so often we can feel as though we're trapped in the middle of the dying light. People keep talking about the light at the end of the tunnel, and we keep saying, well, actually, do you know what? There's not that much light there. I can't see it. And it's a constant battle in our heads between the light and our depression, or our other mental health struggle. Because it's like that is trying to choke off the light. This dark cloud, this dark passenger is trying to hide the light so that we lose hope. The light is dying. And in some ways, when we're confronted with the darkness, like those demons, we have two choices really, don't we? We can either run away from them, which if you are playing Dying Light and you've not really played it before, depending on what time of day or night it is, sometimes running away can be recommended. But we either have to run away from them, or we stand and fight them. We run away, or we stand and fight. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for either, really. I'm not saying that running away is cowardly, standing and fighting is foolhardy. I'm not saying that. Because, just like in this game, you have to pick your own battles. If I'm trying to get to a certain place, going from A to B, and I look and there's, say, 20 zombies down the one road, or 3 down the other, I'll choose the 3. Because then, admittedly, I might have to kill them, but I stand more chance of being able to just run past them. And that's like our struggles. Okay, we're not facing zombies, we're facing everyday problems, we're facing the demons in our head. But we find that we need to pick our battles, because some of them just aren't worth fighting. We conserve our energy to face a different battle, one that we can't necessarily escape. Now, in game talk, the weapons actually degrade. You have to maintain your weapons, so you're conserving your weapons rather than your energy. But it's the same point. You conserve your resources to face the battles that you can't run from. But it's up to you how you cope. Whether you choose to run past them, or whether you choose to face them, or whether you go for a mixture. Whatever works for you is how you cope. But we do feel as though the light that's at the end of the tunnel, the light that everybody tells us is there, is dying. So how do we stop the light from dying? In the game itself, there isn't really, unless, as I say, you get to the end and, there's some way of magically kind of curing all the infected. If there is such a way, then, you know what? That's great. But as far as we're aware, there isn't. There's no way to stop that light from dying. So how do we find the light? It's a difficult one, but it's possible. Because the light is in the people around us. The light is in the people that we come into contact with, the people who matter. We just have to find it. So is the light dying? Or is it just hiding? Perhaps, just like the player character in Dying Light, we just need to find the right skills to help us survive. And it can be done. We can survive, and we can find the light. Perhaps we just need to let others carry our light. That's all from me for today. Thank you ever so much for listening. I just wanted to take a moment at the end of this podcast and thank our patrons over at Patreon. So Louise, Katie, Luce, Samantha, Cheryl, Yi, Shirley, Tamara and Alex. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for all the support that you give to us. It enables us to keep doing what we do, bringing you videos, podcasts, blog posts and everything else that we do. So thank you ever so much for your support. If you'd like to get more involved with our Patreon site, just head over to www.patreon.com/AlexDavisPBTS and you'll find all the information there. It's very easy, very quick to do, and you're in complete control of how much you pledge, when you pledge, and so on. So why not give it a look? But as I say, that's all from me, and I shall catch you next week. Take care, guys. You have a good week. You've been listening to Pushing Back the Shadows. To find out more, head over to pushingbacktheshadows.com and hit subscribe to get all of our latest updates straight to your inbox. Alternatively, connect with us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/AlexDavisPBTS, or you can visit us on Twitter at AlexDavisPBTS. Enable Pushing Back the Shadows to continue supporting people in the mental health community, their friends and their family. By pledging just $1 a month, you could help us to continue supporting people with depression, with anxiety, with bipolar and other mental illnesses. You can also unlock exclusive rewards, behind the scenes, sneak previews of upcoming posts and much, much more. So head over to www.patreon.com/AlexDavisPBTS to find out more.